For the sake of analogy, I looked at how certain factors like demand, current, temperature, and most importantly, the length of power cables contribute to the drop of energy in the transmission of electricity, and I applied it to what we call social power. Now, it may be true that power is everywhere, like Foucault suggested, but it seems to me that power is never equal in strength, longevity, and impact, with the last two being more or less of the same thing. I believe that just like electricity, social power disseminates, loses its strength, depending on the length of what we can call the social power cable in the social space. By the length of the power cable or line, I mean the set of differences between individuals that contribute to the impact of the power, an impact which in our case as humans is largely manifested by the virtue of auditory and visual processings by means of pictures and words. So, for example, an Iranian teacher in a secondary level class full of Farsi and Dari-speaking children would have a different power impact on the children than an Afro-Swedish or even white Swedish teacher. Here, the cable length is ethnicity. A statement from a healthy student is much more powerful than a statement from a student who has dyslexia, unless his words are met with pity from the recipient. Here, the power cable is physical health. Our academic jargon would mean nothing for a bunch of fishermen at sea. Here, the cable length is educational background and setting. The recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel would mean nothing to the North Korean president, as it would mean nothing if it came out from the mouth of the president of Trinidad and Tobago. Here, the cable length is position, common politics, and hegemony, respectively. Now wait a minute. What makes my words here and now accountable? Is it a piece of paper I got from Oxford where it states that I aced all my courses in psychology combined with your prior knowledge about this fact? Then what if I actually read all the books they study at that department and did not tell you about it? Would that make my words valid? And does reading these books alone make my words valid? In fact, what is valid? Here, the power cable is prior knowledge of a shared knowledge about a credential institute. That is, we know that we all know what Oxford denotes. So it appears to me the power is not everywhere. Rather, we create power everywhere. And yet, this power comes in shapes and levels, like we said, to the extent that sometimes it is not even power. It remains a capacity. By saying it remains a capacity, I mean that maybe power is not and should not be called power until it is applied on or by the other, using a common tool like language. Empathy, for example, is a capacity that can be shown by words or even actions towards a poverty-stricken non-relative individual, since kinship may affect the common properties that Bourdieu spoke of. This brings us to the identity of position in social space, now that we've mentioned it in the example of Jerusalem. What makes a policeman join the force despite the hazards he or she knows about? What makes an actor aspire fame despite the tiresome lifestyle, from coping to the latest fashion styles to avoiding the encroachment of paparazzi in his or her personal life? And on a much more important scale, is the relation between saints and prophets and the les gens modestes, the common folk, a genuine try to make their lives better? The other day, I watched a video of a guy giving away the newly released iPhone for free to random people on the street, saying that we just wanted to make your day. I wonder if the guy had discovered that the camera was not rolling when he was filming his video. Would he have regretted it? Here, by merely saying that the guy may have regretted it, I am being a subjectivist, based on what I have observed and my personal dispositions and emotions, like, say, jealousy that he got 4 million views on his video. In fact, I would be even asserting my potential subjectivism if I tried to convince you that I am being objective when I try to come up with an antithesis to reach this dialectical relationship that Bourdieu spoke of. Like, nah, that was a genuine act of altruism of the guy, and he really wanted to make someone's day, just because he indeed did. But, on the other hand, you watch a video of a whale saving a seal from orcas, and you don't have the same feeling about the whale regretting it because you don't have a list of deep, conscious causes to explain the act of altruism of the whale. Is the whale using strategies of condescension, like a pope or a caliph? It appears to me that the moment we try to achieve scientific knowledge by virtue of observation, we become automatically subjectivists, exactly as in the case of Schrödinger's cat. Lastly, I genuinely believe that the human behavior has become so refined to the tune that it has gotten out of its instinctual nature and became so pretentious, especially with the level of surveillance has majorly increased with the advent of social media. That is, we tend to act outside our animalistic nature within a given social context because we have become Homo sapiens, wise men, or women to your liking. This, in my opinion, makes it even harder for us to analyze why or how we react to certain stimuli, because it seems to me that we tend to suppress our animalistic behavior to conform with the human social context until we are really threatened.